We begin with a federal judge blasting the Trump administration, threatening a contempt investigation over what he called a willful disregard of his order to halt deportations to a notorious prison in El Salvador. Judge James Boasberg is accusing the administration of a hurried removal operation. The planes landed in El Salvador, even though he ordered them to turn around. The judge is now preparing to launch an official contempt investigation, which could include requiring testimony under oath and appointing an independent lawyer to prosecute the government for contempt. Caught in the conflict, Kilmore Abrego Garcia, the Maryland husband and father the administration admits was wrongfully sent to El Salvador. A unanimous Supreme Court ordered the administration to facilitate his return. Today, the White House said he will never live in the United States again. In his ruling on contempt, Judge Boasberg wrote the willful disobedience of judicial orders without consequences would make a mockery of the Constitution itself. ABC's senior political correspondent Rachel Scott leads us off from the White House.
Tonight, a dramatic escalation in the battle between the White House and the courts. A federal judge threatening a contempt investigation into the Trump administration for deporting more than 200 Venezuelan immigrants to a notorious prison in El Salvador, despite his order to turn the planes around and return to the United States. Judge James Boasberg declaring the administration displayed a willful disregard for his order, determining there was probable cause to find them in contempt. The judge now preparing to launch an official investigation, which could include officials testifying under oath. He even raises the remarkable prospect of appointing an independent lawyer to prosecute the government for contempt. President Trump has praised the deportations, claiming without evidence the men are violent gang members, inviting El Salvador's president to the White House.
He's done a fantastic job.
But the administration tonight facing mounting questions about the fate of this man, Kilmore Abrego Garcia, last seen head shaved in that Salvadoran prison. Abrego Garcia, an undocumented immigrant from El Salvador, was working and living in Maryland with his American wife and children when he was put on that plane because the government made an administrative error, a mistake they acknowledge. Tonight, Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen traveling to El Salvador looking for any information about Abrego Garcia.
I'm asking President Bukele, under his authority as president of El Salvador, to do the right thing and allow Mr. Abrego Garcia to walk out of a prison, a man who's charged with no crime, convicted of no crime, and who was illegally abducted from the United States.
The Supreme Court has ordered the administration to facilitate Abrego Garcia's return to the United States. But President Trump, who is paying El Salvador $6 million to hold the immigrants, says it's up to that country to send him back.
He is not coming back to our country. President Bukele said he was not sending him back. That's the end of the story. If he wanted to send him back, we would give him a plane ride back. There was no situation ever where he was going to stay in this country. None. None.
The administration insists Abrego Garcia is a violent gang member, but he does not have a criminal record either here or in El Salvador. His family says he fled that country as a teenager in 2011 to escape gang persecution. A judge had ordered that he not be returned to El Salvador because of potential danger. According to court documents, in 2019, a confidential informant named him as a member of the gang MS-13. But a federal judge this month found that evidence unconvincing. Today, the White House noting that in 2021, his wife Jennifer obtained a temporary protective order against him. But that case was later closed. And now Abrego Garcia's wife is on the front lines, pleading for her husband's return.
And Linsey, tonight, El Salvador's president upping the ante, telling the Trump administration he plans to double the size of that prison in his country that's now holding Abrego Garcia and those other migrants, Linsey.
Rachel Scott from the White House. Thanks, Rachel.